There's a window opening, and it points straight from Baltimore to Hollis Hall. Not gossip. Not fan fiction. A real football-shaped lane that appears when a proud team stumbles. A veteran star feels the clock, and a front office with picks and cap flexibility smells blood in the water. I'm talking about a move that would change how we close games in January and how defensive coordinators sleep on Saturday night. Welcome back to Bears News Fan Report. I'm going to give you the full picture. Why the timing favors Chicago. How the market could break open if Baltimore keeps sliding. What a fair price looks like in 2025 terms. The red zone math is would flip overnight. And the risks, I won't sugarcoat age curve, ball security, and workload. If you want clear-eyed analysis with a fan's heart, stick with me and tap that like so this reaches more. Bears fans who live for roster chess and Sunday grit, let's frame where we are. The Bears rebuilt from the trenches out. The line isn't perfect, but the communication is cleaner and the floor is higher. Caleb Williams gives me the kind of on-schedule decision-making we beg for, plus that second reaction spark that steals first downs. Luther Burden 3 has already added yards after catch menace and a throw it to me when the drive stalls calm. The skeleton of a complete offense is here. What we don't have, not consistently, is the finishing punch that turns 2nd and 7 into 3rd and D2, without drama and transforms a red zone stalemate into 7 points without burning a trick page. Andre Swift is doing his job. Tempo, angle, routes, get outside juice. Outlet for a young quarterback. I like his burst in space and how his presence widens split safeties. But when defenses muddy the picture and say, beat us between the tackles, we still see too many dirty downs, handfuls of 2 yards, and worry. Our short yardage can feel like a committee meeting. Our 4-minute offense, at times like a negotiation. That's not how you win windy football in the NFC North. Now, look at the other sideline. Baltimore built a bruiser identity, paid for it, and rode it. But a 1-4 start and injuries at quarterback turn a proud franchise into a practical one. Veteran stars on 2-year structures always sit on the fault line between anchor and asset. Add a few fumbles to the narrative, sprinkle an age 31 whispers. And one more loss can move the conversation in a front office room from no to what would it take. I don't need a press release to understand the league's pattern. When contenders stall and money is tied up in older skilled talent, they listen. And when they listen, hunters like Chicago make lists. Why us? Because January football in this division leans into body blows. Detroit wants to lean on you. Green Bay wants to draw you into a track meet and then steal your legs late. Minnesota wants to Harvard you with spacing and force you to tackle in the alley. The proper Chicago answer is something colder. Own the middle 8, punish armed tackles, and remove all doubt on 3rd and short by imposing a math problem the defense can't fix with scheme. You don't teach that overnight. You buy it, schematically. The vision is clean. Duo, pin and pull, GH counter. These are friendly calls for a downhill back who keeps his shoulders square and trusts double teams to displace rather than detour. I can live in condensed splits and still stress the edges. Orbit motion with Burden. Jet threat to widen the force player. Then bang the B gap with a back who falls forward as a rule, not an exception. Tag and RPO flats for Swift. Keep Caleb on the move with keepers to punish over pursuit. And let play action become the bully we've wanted it to be. Chicago doesn't need a highlight back. It needs gravity. Derrick Henry still has that. Let's talk risk like adults. Mileage is real. Fumbles matter. Straight line speed in year 9 isn't the same as year 4. That's why the plan would be a pitch count, not a hero count. Swift keeps his 3rd down and perimeter touch menu. Henry takes the staircase work, short yardage, red zone, 4-minute. You compress the job description to the downs that pay rent. You ask a veteran to be efficient, not eternal. That's how you protect him and how he protects the ball. What would the market ask? No one's handing out bargains at midseason. You're almost always starting with a day 2 pick framework and then massaging with conditions playtime. Team success, ball security triggers plus some salary mechanics to make numbers fit. The second lever is timing. The earlier a seller admits reality, the more they can demand. The later they wait, the more the calendar becomes our ally. Chicago has flexibility and a clean enough sheet to act without mortgaging tomorrow. But this is still a grown-up price. Signals to watch? Front offices telegraph intent in small ways. Practice squad churn at running back. A sudden uptick of heavier personnel in our early scripts, as if the staff is rehearsing for a different runner. Press answers about finishing drives that get more specific and less patient. From Baltimore, pay attention to snap splits and how they talk about ball security being non-negotiable. In this league, words like that can be either accountability or stage-setting.now. I'm not going to bury the lead. Here's the moment you came for, and I won't dance around it. The scenario on my board is Derrick Henry to the Chicago Bears, yes. That Derrick Henry if the price hits a rational band and the standings cooperate. This isn't fantasy. It's alignment. A seller who needs clarity, a buyer who needs finish, and a veteran who still changes how a safety fits the run when the weather turns. What does rational look like in English? Think one premium asset, not three. Think structure over splash. A pick that can escalate if the production really swings outcomes. And a short runway contract tweak that pays for touchdowns, not headlines. If cash needs sweetening, there are ways, void years, offsets, light guarantees that keep the cap healthy. If Baltimore wants a player back, it has to be someone we can spare without touching the core or the rookie timeline. This is doable without breaking the locker room logic. On the field, day one effects will be loud. Red zone efficiency jumps because you're trading cute for cruel. Short yardage conversion climbs because the pile goes our way. Time of possession tilts because 4-yard body shots add up to chunk gains in the fourth. Caleb's life gets easier because safeties sit one step shallower and hook curl defenders lean into play action. Burden eats because backside corners get nosy and lose their eyes. The defense breathes because 12 extra offensive snaps per game takes 5 tackles off somebody's legs. Identity-wise, this is Chicago football the way your uncle described it. Updated for 2025. Big mean. And uninterested in debates about style points. Soldier Field in the wind doesn't care about your fantasy lineup. It rewards teams that make tackles hurt and make decisions simple. Henry has always been a tone setter. Put him behind an improving line, next to a live-arm rookie. And beside a jitterbug back who forces linebackers to widen. And you've got 3 complementary answers to the same weekly question. Can you get to 24 without drama? I can hear the counterarguments. He's 31. Correct. And that's why you buy targeted usage, not a crown. The fumbles. True, and that's why you write them into the structure and the rotation. What about the long term? Also fair, and that's why the pick can be protected and the money can breathe. The mistake would be to ask Henry to save the franchise. The assignment is smaller. Finish drives, melt clocks, and make every 2nd and 5 feel like a gift. Now I want you in this before I land the plane. If the ask is, say, a conditional day 2 pick that moves up only if Henry smashes certain marks and we make a postseason push, are you in? If keeping Swift's role intact means Henry is a 12 to 15 touch sledgehammer instead of a 25 carry bell cow, does that still justify the trade? And if the fallback targets are cheaper, but don't tilt the field the same way, would you rather hold your ammo and wait for March? Drop your full proposal below pick protections, incentive, snap count vision. I'll highlight the sharpest ones in the next upload. Got my concise read. For a team with a rookie quarterback, a rising WR1, and an improving line, the cleanest upgrade is finishing power. Derrick Henry brings finishing power. The risk is real but manageable with roles, structure, and accountability. The upside is measurable in categories that win cold weather games: red zone, short yardage, 4-minute offense, and playoff posture. Final analysis. If Baltimore keeps drifting and the price lands in the same range, Chicago should make the call. Not to chase a headline, but to buy certainty in the exact situations that have burned us. If the market overheats or the Ravens stabilize, you walk away with your plan intact and pivot in the offseason. Either way, we control our standards, play heavy when it matters, protect the football, and make defense our ally by owning the clock. If you want daily updates as this heats up plus cap breakdowns, Film Room looks at what our run game would be with a downhill finisher. And Sober reads on the rumor mill. Subscribe to Bears News Fan Report. Turn on notifications. And share this with a friend who texts trade ideas at 2 a.m. We're here every day to keep this conversation smart and honest.